So today we're talking with Field McConnell about the relationship between the government and corporations. So Field, where else is this heading? What sort of things is happening at a level that maybe the public isn't seeing, but yet feeling the ripple effect of?
It would appear to me at my age that we've got at least three different generations that are having different inputs, different expectations, and different levels of knowledge. And what we need to do is skip the parent level and have us grandparents dictate to the 20-something what appears to be the case. Many people, once they reach 40 to 60, they're totally focused, I believe, upon the continuation of their revenue flow and the maximization of their retirement, thinking that these things will provide them security, where I think the younger generations, the 20s and the 30s, have a greater thirst and hunger for the truth so that they'll know how to navigate through their life and avoid the pitfalls of paradigm paralysis that's foisted upon them by the mega corporations, which are typically international in ownership and no longer owned within the shores of the United States or serving the interest of the United States public at large. And I feel that that is my responsibility, not because I can do everything for everybody, but I have 5 kids between 17 and 28, and I do not want them to be abused.
Do you see that the economy that has been produced from this happens to be more of a war economy?
That's an excellent and timely question, because on today, the 2nd of March of 2011, the USS Kearsarge and the USS Ponce are going through the Suez Canal with destination Libya. Going back to 1937, I would recommend that young people Google this name, Smedley Butler, S-M-E-D-L-E-Y, Smedley Butler, who in 1937 said, "War is a racket." If you don't want to go back that far, you can Google some statements by Dwight D. Eisenhower, the President of the United States of America from 52 to 60, who said, "Beware of the military-industrial complex." The sad truth is the United States of America has been engaged in war almost continuously going back to World War I, and war is a profit-making enterprise, and the profits are not made within the United States of America, but rather in the global corporations, and yet the price paid is with the contributions and sweat and blood of the U.S. military, the survivors, the widows, and the orphans. And I think we need not to support corporate war.
So if it would be a good idea not to support the corporate war, how could we go about maybe stopping a lot of this enlistment that's going on? Because we know that the public schools are being used for preparing children to want to go into this type of employment.
I'd answer that twofold. I would say that number one, the conditions are set where the employment picture for high school graduates is rather bleak, and so the attractiveness of the paychecks of a steady job in the military is reasonable. Any reasonable young person, 17 or 18, might think that those paychecks and the retirement after 20 years is something worthy of pursuit. The young people of this nation between high school and, say, late 30s need to educate themselves. In other words, they need to break free of the chains of paradigm paralysis and seek the truth, and they will not find the truth in the major media simply because the major media is very centrally owned, perhaps with as few as 4 different owners of the major networks. And yet there's alternative media, and I believe I'm talking to one right now, and I'm going to be on the radio later today in another one. And the alternative media is gaining great favor over the mainstream media, which has been proven to do nothing other than to mislead we the people and cause fear among we the people and cause we the people who are not breaking free of what I call paradigm paralysis to seek a solution to a virtual problem contrived by corporations. And the solution that they are offered is more dependence upon the United States government to protect them from everything, even virtual deception.
So not only then do we need to start looking at the media and what they're hyping, because there's so many advertisements on the media, which obviously are corporation paid for, such things as our food and our water and just everything like that that pertains to our health. There's a lot of drug advertisements and all that. That too is something that I suppose you would agree that the American people need to begin to discern and sort through and understand what's really being presented here.
I would encourage all, including myself and my family, to try to understand the relationship between the Federal Drug Administration, the American Medical Association, and try to find out if these mega associations are acting in our best interest or if they're perhaps participating in corporate profit making that may or may not injure our health long term. Some excellent examples of kids my age were inoculated for certain potential diseases or illnesses back in the 50s and 60s, and an absolutely shameful example is thalidomide, which was given to expectant mothers, supposedly to reduce the effects of morning sickness, and it turned out creating a lot of thalidomide babies. I think it's absolutely essential that people in their 20s and 30s do some research on their own, and if they research that single issue of thalidomide, they'll find that it was a German corporation that produced the product and then marketed it through the English, and neither the Germans nor the English used thalidomide in their own nations, and yet it was distributed throughout the United States of America at great personal and health cost.